Good evening. Please welcome the Academy for Sciences and Agriculture Executive Director, Miss Becky Meyer.
Hello, AFSA families and friends. Welcome to our first ever virtual graduation ceremony at the Academy for Sciences and Agriculture. I'm Becky Meyer, the Executive Director here, and tonight we're here to celebrate the class of 2020. I want to thank you all for your understanding and support during distance learning and now distance graduation. This is not the way we imagined graduation would go when we started this senior year. I have had the honor of greeting each and every senior since 2004 as they walked across the stage. It's a tradition I'm missing, and I know how hard this change is for everyone. Tonight, we will celebrate the accomplishments of these 55 amazing individuals, and I know we'll make sure it's a celebration they won't soon forget. Thank you to all the families and friends who are here with us tonight to celebrate the accomplishments of the class of 2020. The class of 2020 is unique and full of life. They have logged countless hours of volunteerism and various agricultural experiences. I believe we will all be impressed when we hear about the accomplishments of the class of 2020.
The AFSA graduating class of 2020 has chosen 2 students and a senior advisor to represent the class at graduation. Our first student speaker is someone who can always be counted on. Over his 6 years at AFSA, his positive attitude and diligence has influenced everything, from his advisory to the theater department, and most significantly, the FFA. We are proud to call him Mr. President. Please welcome Gavin Pronshinsky.
This is my first memory here at AFSA. This has been the home of, Nelson's advisory for the last 4 years, as I've been a part of. And early on, we did a lot of crazy stuff, including requests that Miss Nelson get us a boat. Okay. So we requested that our boat get put here, where we are. Much to our dismay, Miss Nelson wouldn't get us a boat, so we decided to convince her that it's not a boat, it's okay, we'll get a water car instead, because then we didn't have to buy a boat, we buy a water car. That was a couple years ago, so that's probably why the logic is a little unsound, but it's always a treasured memory. I love this map, love this room, I love the water car. Hey, you guys. First of all, I'd like to congratulate all of you for graduating. That means you guys stuck through it to the end. Here we are. We persevered, but let's take a step back and look at it all. We, from day one in our education, in our lives, we've been taught different ways, all of us. And, throughout school, we're preparing for things like college, preparing for things like the military, trade schools, apprenticeships, whatever you may be doing. We have all the resources at our disposal, thanks to our teachers and our family, to learn how to prepare for those and get ready. A lot of us have applied to colleges. A lot of us are lined up with jobs. I'm signed up with the Army. But what none of us expected to do was to go for something that was way untraditional. Our futures, instead of becoming, I like to see it as like a clay tower that over time we build and our foundations solidify. That's our futures, and someday we're gonna have our whole castle that we built. Now, as we're starting to solidify things because of the pandemic, our towers become a little more mushy. We can mold it a little more because we're not sure of how everything's gonna be like. A lot of colleges are probably still gonna be doing social distance learning through next year. Even my deploy date was pushed off, and I have to find out what's going to go on there still. I don't know how things like trade work and apprentice is going to be like, but a lot of things are held up, and we're kind of uncertain with that. It's a time of uncertainty, but that's what makes it so fantastic. It's because we can really do anything now. We have to craft a new way to move forward, ways no one else has ever done. It's definitely a new age for everyone, and I think it's a good thing. We missed out on quite a lot. I remember back earlier this year, before things really started getting shut down, I think the first thing I remember getting kibosh was robotics. I was just hanging around with a couple of my friends, and Bill came in and said, hey, robotics is a no-go this year. And that's when things started following after that. Next thing you know, state convention was canceled. Spring sports became canceled. Quarantine kicked in. We weren't allowed to go back to school. We missed things like prom. We missed a lot. Graduating in a pandemic means to my classmates and I that we've been through a great hardship, something very difficult. No one in this lifetime has ever dealt with anything quite similar. And not that it puts us above anyone else, but we definitely have wisdom and have been through a challenge that few have faced before. Here we are. We got that experience behind us. We got our entire futures ahead of us. So take it to heart when I say that there's absolutely nothing you cannot achieve now that you've made it through this. No one has done anything remotely like this for well over a century. You not only stayed at home and made it through, but you completed high school education at the same time. That's incredible. Let us all take a moment to thank everyone who really made this possible. Our teachers and staff here at AFSA. They worked incredibly hard on making your education possible, moving everything from textbook to online, getting on class calls every day, multiple times a day, just to hopefully see your face, talk to you, work with you. Because as you can imagine, and as you experienced, it is nowhere near as easy as just talking to you in class, walking up to your desk, asking you, hey, how's the work coming? Thank you, teachers, sincerely, for working so hard and getting that done for us so we could complete the next step in our journey to the rest of our lives. For the future of us, I really hope that we take this wisdom and experience and use it for good, I really hope that we all look at this like, wow, we just did that. Now we're going to do more and excel because of it, because now we have places to improve politically, academically, socially. We know what to do differently. I mean, our whole world's going to change, and now our generation and all generations can see that. Congratulations, class of 2020. We graduated.
Our next speaker joined AFSA as an agricultural educator this year and has been actively assisting students through their FFA journey. Please welcome Ms. Haley Lighting.
I have loved spending this past year at AFSA getting to know the exciting and unique things that make our school a home. At AFSA, our mission is to teach science and agriculture in a hands-on and unique way. Tonight, we are recognizing the 2020 seniors who have made it through the trying times and have made it to the point to be recognized as graduates. At AFSA, our seniors have been involved in FFA in numerous ways, including FFA and Activation Week, numerous camps and conferences, state and national conventions, and been involved in leadership and career development teams. At AFSA, we have 3 seniors who have received their chapter FFA degree and 2 seniors who have been recognized on the state level for receiving their state FFA degree. For seniors who have received their chapter FFA degree and who have been involved in a high level in the AFSA FFA chapter, they have been honored with an FFA sash. Seniors, thank you for your time at the Academy for Sciences and Agriculture. I can't wait to see the impact you have on the world. Congratulations.
Our next speaker is AFSA's Director of Student Support. Please welcome Ms. Luba Vanyo.
As I think back to the start of the school year, not a single one of us would have imagined that you, the class of 2020, would spend the last few months of your senior year quarantined, becoming experts on Zoom and learning online. You've been isolated from your friends and the many events that make senior year so memorable. You've given up prom, graduation, and all the summer parties that celebrate who you've become. As staff members, we have truly missed seeing you in the building. We have worked hard to share a vision to educate, inspire, and empower you online so that you may continue to be ethical and engaged young people. It's not the same, and we wish we could do more, but it's been so rewarding to see and hear about all the wonderful acts of kindness that you continue to exhibit during this time. On a monthly basis, teachers nominate and select one student from each grade level who exemplifies the traits of AFSA: citizenship, responsibility, caring, nonviolence, integrity, self-control, and respect. We know that as you move forward, you will all continue to exhibit the traits that we have seen in the halls of AFSA. Please join me in congratulating AFSA's 2019-2020 Student of the Month honorees: Olivia Thomas, Olivia Ellis, Sam Coland, Maddie Randall, Nate Lundy, Angela Young, Corey Nelson, and Mitchell Carey. Congratulations. Thank you. There is no doubt that the class of 2020 is going to change the world. Look at you, you're already making history. Through our strong community and business partnerships, AFSA students receive scholarship opportunities specific to them. The first scholarship is the Nate Dunn Next Generation of Leaders Scholarship, sponsored by F&M Bank. The scholarship is worth $1,000 and awarded to one senior with a desired passion and leadership. This year's recipient has been described as a natural leader who is responsible, reliable, thoughtful, and compassionate. Besides being a key member of AFSA's National Honor Society, this person has been active in their church community by participating in mission trips and volunteering in the community. I am excited to announce that this year's recipient is Olivia Ellis. The second $1,000 scholarship is the Vadnais Heights Community Group Scholarship, which is provided jointly by the Vadnais Heights Area Community Foundation and the Vadnais Heights Lions Club. This scholarship recognizes a senior who has demonstrated a strong academic record, 3.0 GPA or higher, involvement in community service, and/or have overcome a significant life challenge. The person receiving this scholarship says that it is their goal in life to make a positive influence in other people's lives. This student has been an active member of AFSA's Drama Club and Art Club, as well as the National Honor Society. As a volunteer for the Como Block Nurse Program, this student has helped seniors with the many tasks they need assistance on. This year's recipient is Zoe Peterson. The final scholarship is an agriculture-inspired scholarship provided by Cargill. The student who receives this $1,000 award must reflect on how their agricultural education has shaped their life and future, as well as the role that agriculture plays in today's ever-changing society. The recipient of this scholarship has volunteered over 400 hours during their time at AFSA. They have been active in the National Honor Society, the Boy Scouts of America, and the Robotics Club. This Cargill Scholarship is awarded to Sam Coland. Congratulations to our 2020 scholarship recipients. This chapter in your life may not have ended quite the way anyone would have expected, but it's just the first chapter of so many more to come. It will not define your whole story. We look forward to seeing the next chapter for all of our AFSA graduates.
Please welcome AFSA's School Board Vice Chair and Professor at the University of Minnesota Twin Cities for the Department of Food Science and Nutrition, Mr. Dave Smith.
Thank you for that kind introduction. I would like to congratulate all of the members of the 2020 class of AFSA High School on the accomplishment of reaching this milestone in your lives. What I'm going to talk about now is that you're really beginning a new adventure, or maybe you want to say, my adventure is continuing as you leave AFSA High School and move out into other endeavors. Most of you will continue on in higher education, or as I like to say, post-secondary training. Others will possibly be going into the military or have jobs already lined up. What I'd like to do is kind of give you a little flavor for my journey to this point in my life, or my initial journey in academia, simply because what I want to illustrate is lots of things are going to happen. There isn't a roadmap with a straight road that you can just whiz down. There will be many twists, turns. You'll go up and over some hills. You may go into some dead ends and back out. So there's a lot of things to think about. And don't at any point feel like, oh, it's not working out for me. It's just that you haven't found that next side road, that next highway that's going to keep you moving along. I often like to ask people to guess what I was doing my first 2 years of college. And no one has ever guessed correctly. I was in the seminary. I was studying to be a priest. I'm one of the few people you'll ever meet who has 13 credits of college Greek, plus some Latin, plus some French, and a number of other things. But at the end of 2 years, I decided, this wasn't quite for me, and I moved on to a college, and the next year on to 2 different colleges. So in a 4-year span, I was in 4 different schools and wound up with a bachelor's degree in biology. Not being sure what I wanted to do, I can go to graduate school. So I went on and got a master's degree in biology. And at that point had to figure, I better think about getting a real job. What was I going to do? I'd kind of run out of school options at that point in time. I grew up over in eastern Wisconsin in the Fox River Valley. So I wrote to all the Chamber of Commerces in the area, got a hold of their books, and wrote to any company that I thought wanted someone with a biology degree. If you had 50 or more employees, you got a letter from Dave Smith looking for a job. And lo and behold, I got hired by a dairy company, a company called Fairmont Foods. Today, since I have a food science degree now, that scared the heck out of me because I'm supposed to make sure everything is made safely in that plant. And whoa, I'd never seen the inside. I didn't know what a pasteurizer was other than this little thing my dad and mom had at home and we'd bring the milk in from the barn. So I was there for about a year and a half. Then I got an opportunity to go back to Oshkosh, Wisconsin, where I'd got my bachelor's and master's, back with a bunch of my buddies, and work in a soda plant. And that was great because I had all my friends there. And I could have partied a lot and so forth. But about a month in, I was sure this was not the job for me. I didn't want anything to do with being quality assurance, at least at that plant. So it was time to make some decisions. And lo and behold, way back in my dairy plant days, I had stumbled across food science. I had never heard of it until I was 26 years old. And our district QC guy happened to be a Minnesota grad. He mentioned what it was. Well, this food science sounds like a good idea. So I applied to University of Illinois, University of Wisconsin, and the University of Minnesota. And lo and behold, I got accepted at Illinois, I got accepted at Wisconsin, and I wondered what was going on in Minnesota. Well, something that got goofed up with my transcripts, and I went, I've already accepted at 2 schools. I didn't want to make a choice between 3. So I made the decision to go to the University of Wisconsin at Madison and pursue my degree in food science. And I was there roughly 4 years. Since I hadn't had any food science background, I had to be there longer because I had to take a whole bunch of credits. So I never give anybody any sympathy when they gripe about too many credits. And again, the twists and turns that happen in your life. I'm standing in the hall one day with a colleague, Clint Garut, who was a Minnesota grad, and my advisor, who had traveled only one time in the 4 years that I was his advisee, walked out and said, Tommy's job is still open at Minnesota. Howard told me about it. And I had looked at that job, went, I wasn't sure. But I thought, well, I'll apply. Lo and behold, I applied. Less than a month later, they brought me up for an interview. And 4 days after I had had my interview, I was offered the job. And lo and behold, I wind up at the University of Minnesota in the food science and nutrition department teaching food science. Now, to add a little bit of personal touch or an AFSA touch about how things change and how your path will twist and turn. There was a young lady, I sat at graduation with her in my department a number of years ago, and she was an AFSA grad. I had gotten to know Rebecca, and she was a food sci grad. I said, Rebecca, you got a job? And she goes, this may sound strange, but I'm going to be going into the convent in July. And so I think it kind of goes full circle. I was in the seminary, she's going to the convent. And I've had this occur many times. I read a number of proposals for students in the last weeks who are coming back to the university. Some people in their 50s, 60s. We had one time a woman in her 80s came back to complete her bachelor's because she wanted to feel fulfilled. So my message to you, graduates of 2020, please consider that you're going to have a lot of twists and turns. Start where your heart takes you, but if it isn't quite right, don't be afraid to make changes. I know the parents won't like to hear this. Don't be afraid to transfer from one school to another because it's your life and you have to be happy so that when you're at age 50, which I know sounds really, really old, I wish I was that young right now, when you look back, you want to say, I made the decisions based on what I knew then. It'd be great to know the future. But again, congratulations, class of 2020, and maybe I'll see some of you in my class if you come to the U. Thank you.
Our next student speaker is the National Honor Society Vice President and the captain of the school's robotics team. He is a brilliant student whose willingness to learn and find the solutions to problems is second to none. He has been a positive influence during his 4 years at AFSA and has developed into a leader who is always willing to help others. Please welcome Sam Coland.
My apologies. You know, I was going to start off with a joke, something to get a few laughs, lighten the mood, but as it turns out, the world is now a joke, so that's taken care of for me. Good morning, everybody. Today is a good day. First of all, I would like to congratulate the graduating class and to thank everyone who has played an integral part. From the teachers, the families, the friends, dogs and cats who have helped us get through it all. I believe I speak for all of us when I say thank you so much for all of your valiant efforts. Now, class of 2020, do you remember when you would walk into class? Yeah, me neither. That was a long time ago. When we live in a world that's plagued with, well, a plague, life changes. We start doing things like rationing toilet paper, drinking bleach. Please don't do that. Still procrastinating that one thing, whatever it may be. The point is, amidst all of this confusion and against all of the odds out there, we persevered and are still here today, managing somehow to graduate. And that is a feat within itself. All of us came to AFSA as different people, at different times from different places, but with every year, we grew. We grew together as a group. Every day, we learned more and more about each other, and today, we stand here, nay, watch across the state as friends, who can put aside all of our differences and celebrate this victory. So, class of 2020, congratulations. You've done it. We've all done it. Looking back, we really had a wild ride. Coming to school as freshmen, we walked the halls saying, "Damn, Daniel," and getting our fidget spinners taken away while trying to navigate our first college-level course, civics with Miss Nelson. In 10th grade, we began to get the hang of things, while still writing our first essay 3 minutes before class started. And as juniors, we began to gain experience, and for some, that experience was in the first stages of senioritis. And now here we are, after more than 2,500 hours of community service, 1,800 minutes in FFA meetings, thousands and thousands of dollars in donations, and absolutely overcome with senioritis. There's this quote that I enjoy, and it's said by the one and only Danny DeVito. "The choices we make dictate the life we lead. To thine own self be true." You know, I think Shakespeare said it too, but these days it's quite hard to tell who really said things first. I believe this quote is important because it stands for what AFSA stands for, really. Individuality. We don't go to AFSA because it has the highest test scores, or the best football team, or a football team, or a track team, or a swim team for that matter. We go to AFSA because here we can be who we want to be. Because in the end, that is what matters. We won't be remembered by what grades we failed, what tests we failed, or even how popular we were. No, we will be remembered by who we were, what our personalities were like, who we made connections with. Because these are the memories and the experiences that will be remembered, and the ones that will build us up to be the greatest people we can be. In the end, that is what matters. That is the legacy the class of 2020 will leave. A legacy that will propel us into our adult lives. Lives that will have the ability to change the world. Lives that I know will change the world. Lives that will fight like hell to change the world. And now we go on to the rest of our lives in the real world. So I'll leave you with a tip from the person who undoubtedly said it best, Samuel L. Jackson. Hold on to your butts. Thank you, and good night.
The advisor chosen to speak for this graduating class wears many hats. Whether at a sporting event or teaching in the classroom, he has a knack for listening, connecting with students, and supporting others however they may need it. Please welcome Mr. Jake Brown.
Class of 2020, hello, and I wanted to thank each and every one of you for allowing me to be the commencement speaker at your graduation. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Jake Brown. I have worked at AFSA for 7 years, and I started as an educational assistant, and I'm currently a special education teacher and the activities director here at AFSA High School. 2020, it's been a crazy year. I want to start off by saying how proud I am of each and every one of you. The last several months have been a roller coaster of emotions, and a lot has been thrown at us. For some of you, you are living your best lives with distance learning. You're able to stay up late, watch Tiger King, play video games till all hours of the night, all while getting your work done, because I know you are all doing that. For some of you, though, distance learning has not been easy. You struggle to find a routine, to get up in the morning, and you miss socializing with your friends. You miss walking around AFSA, and you miss learning in a classroom. I know that each and every one of you will have a different experience through this time, but you're each going to come out stronger and more resilient for it. When you set out on this journey 4 years ago, none of us knew what was in store for you. We all had visions of how we would end, and this certainly was not one of them. Even if you joined us later on after 9th grade, you are all leaving as part of the AFSA family. When thinking back on high school, remember the good times. Remember Mr. Kennet's yelling at kids in the hallway for having too much PDA, or Mr. Jones yelling, "Geez," at his class each and every day. Remember Mr. K stopping to listen to the bird clock chirp, or looking out the window during the middle of a lecture, telling you what species of bird was out there and where they migrate every year. Remember the kitchen staff. I don't know if all of you have experienced cooking during this time, but let me tell you, Sandy, Will, Bill, and Lynn were saints for cooking high-quality meals for you each and every day. Take it from my experience, ask your parents, high school food isn't always that great, so they did a wonderful job taking care of you. And finally, take away from this experience, wipe it down Wednesdays. Mr. Zern taught you how to keep your spaces clean, and that's ever more important nowadays in keeping safe. I know I will always miss telling a certain advisee to take his hat off. I think you know who you are, but every day of his senior year, I had to tell him to take off a black stocking cap, even when it was 85 degrees out in September. Baffled me. But reflecting on that now, I miss that. I cherish those memories because it was a connection. While it was frustrating, it was part of that little bit of I miss from high school. I know that I definitely have been wearing hats more often than I normally would, but that's because I haven't had a haircut in 4 months and look like Shaggy from Scooby-Doo. In a few short years, you're going to start to see the changes that your generation is making on the world. I encourage each and every one of you to make the lives of your families, your friends, and your neighbors better each and every day. Just like the greatest generation of World War II, no one has experienced a similar thing to you. The pandemic of 2020 is definitely going to change the way we live our lives. But I know that you will make that change for the better because I've seen each and every one of you grow into the future leaders that we need and the future leaders that we deserve. We have talked a lot about what it means to be AFSA. We created a hashtag. The staff had their BEEFSA shirts, as some of you called them. And they really embodied what we want you to take away from high school, and that's being safe, responsible, and respectful young adults who make positive impacts on their communities. Think of all the times at Farm Community Service Day when you helped someone out and you had a big smile for volunteering your time. We want you to feel good in the pursuits that you do each and every day and walk away having learned something. As I was searching for the right words to leave you with for our commencement speech, I took a look back on the past. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. is one of the greatest orators and human beings of our generation. The following quote from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. really embodies what we are going through right now as a society. We need leaders not in love with money, but in love with justice. We need leaders not in love with publicity, but in love with humanity. I chose this quote because it really embodies what we are going through as a society. I do not want to diminish the importance on money in our society. It's necessary for our daily lives, and that's important to understand. But so are other human beings. Taking care of the people around you, like your friends, your family, even your neighbors, is what in the end is going to get us through to the next day and through this tough times. The reason I chose to end with a quote like that is because I believe each and every one of you can inspire that kind of change. I have watched most of you grow for at least 4 years, and I know that you are there to make that change. Class of 2020, it has been the wildest ride of my high school experience. From wildfires burning up Australia, to a global pandemic, to murder hornets, 2020 really doesn't like us this year. But it's only 1 year. Time will pass, things will get better, and you have the chance to make a positive change on your communities. Class of 2020, thank you so very much for letting me be your commencement speaker. Congratulations on graduating high school. I look forward to seeing what each and every one of you does with the rest of your lives.
Please welcome our commencement speakers, Miss Jessica Ferraro and Miss Mandy Olson.
Tonight, we'll be announcing the graduating class of the Academy for Sciences and Agriculture. Our students have worked hard over the past 4 years to earn one of two types of diplomas. If a student has completed AFSA's graduation requirements, which are more rigorous than the state of Minnesota, their diploma will read Honors Diploma. If a student is graduating under the state of Minnesota requirements, their diploma will read Diploma. Both indicate the successful completion of 4 years of high school. This will be indicated on the slideshow following the commencement of each student.
Students have had the opportunity to earn a gold sash through their involvement and commitment with our AFSA FFA chapter. Students who have achieved high academic honors have been awarded a medallion. Additionally, membership and involvement in our AFSA National Honor Society have earned a gold cord. A red, white, and blue cord indicate involvement in youth and government, ensuring our future is bright. And finally, students who participated in Reach Squad earned a rainbow-colored cord, signifying the time and energy put in to ensure all students at AFSA have a voice. Achievements will be acknowledged with the recognition of each graduate. Let's begin.
Ian Anderson.
Nicholas Aaron.
Alicia Barnett.
Lillian Barrett.
Jeremiah Bauer.
Jeremy Bennett.
Mitchell Carey.
Shayla Casey. Miranda Chartrand.
Ethan Chase.
Luke Cockrum.
Jacob Kolstock.
Dylan Dorner.
Abigail Eknes.
Olivia Ellis.
Maxwell Fenner.
Jacob Flanagan.
Amaya Flor Simmons.
Michaela Frainer.
Nathan Haugen.
Christopher Gage Hernandez.
Kelvin Hill.
Rachel Jepson.
Katarina Johnson. Blaze Jones.
Kieran Killian.
Ian Plongtruatrope.
Samuel Colin.
Otto Lang.
Nathaniel Lundy. Abigail Moe.
Charles Mortensen.
Sergio Munoz.
Corey Nelson.
Tyler Peterson.
Zoe Peterson.
Jacob Petronak. Maddie Polson. Gavin Krunchinsky. Madeline Randall.
Todd Rhodes. Grant Schmidt. Colin Simone.
Bennett Smyrtle.
Evan Steinman.
Paige Stuber.
Anne Sweeney.
Julian Tentis.
Olivia Thomas.
Anthony Toe. Benjamin Volhaber.
Griffin Westerman.
Julie Yang. Pahua
Yang.
Angela Young.
Welcome back, AFSA's Executive Director, Miss Becky Meyer.
Many of these seniors started with us in 7th grade at our St. Paul location. Many of them came to us later, but whenever they came to us, they are now family. #BeAFSA means something. They came to us to fit in and found they'd be able to stand out. They have sold thousands of dollars of bedding plants through our greenhouse sales, represented AFSA at local, state, and national events, planted flowers and raked mulch at city parks, and impressed community members with their compassion and work ethic. They have participated in many hours of extracurricular activities, including National FFA, National Honor Society, Youth in Government, First Robotics, Reach Squad, Quiz Bowl, Bird Nerds, Gamers Club, Esports, Art Club, K-Pop Club, Current Events Club, talent shows, musicals, including Elf the Musical, sports, baseball, softball, volleyball, soccer, basketball, college in the schools classes, and PSEO programs. I'm proud of the class of 2020. The moment we've been waiting for. Graduates, please stand. Move the tassel from the right side of your cap to the left. On behalf of the Academy for Sciences and Agriculture and the state of Minnesota, I present to you the class of 2020. Congratulations.